Hello, beautiful strangers, and welcome back to another episode of Crimson Gray. When last we left off, we decided that we would help Lizzie and also try to get to know her better. So, let's get back into it, shall we? In the morning, it all seemed even more unbelievable. John sleepwalked through his routine, half certain that he would find out it had all been a dream. But when he arrived at school, he found Lizzie waiting for him by the school entrance. She looked like she could have been waiting there the entire night. When she saw him now, her face lit up. "John, you're finally here. I've been waiting so long." Good morning." "Yes, it's a wonderful morning. I've spent so long too nervous to talk to you, afraid that you'd hate me, but we had such a nice talk, now I'm barely nervous at all. But my heart, it still goes crazy every time we get near, John. Isn't it horrible that we have to be in different classes? We should be together. Will you eat lunch with me today? Please, won't you?" She could sound so adorable. Normally, he'd be happy to have a girl like her asking to eat lunch together. But... Sure. On the roof again? "No, there might be unkind people there, and you might feel sad again." "No, I have the perfect place." "Where is it?" "That's a secret. I'll show you at lunchtime." He wasn't really sure how to feel about that. For once, John had something to look forward to. Or dread. He wasn't sure. The minutes seemed to crawl by until it was finally lunchtime. When he went looking for Lizzie, he discovered that she was waiting behind him, completely silent, watching him. Hi, Lizzie. Let's go. We don't need to go to the cafeteria. This way." She practically dragged him away from the school and onto one of the paths in the nearby forest. Soon they got far enough that they couldn't hear any sounds from the school. "Here's perfect, just perfect." Lizzie faced away from him, giving a soft little laugh. Then suddenly, she whirled around, thrusting something towards him. A lunchbox. "I worked really hard on this. You have to eat it. You have to." Okay. Thanks, Lizzie." She gave a little squeal and promptly sat down on a small rock. It seemed she had a second lunchbox of her own, but she kept it on her lap until he opened his. John was braced for a horror show, but to his surprise, it was just normal food. It actually looked pretty good. Yeah, I would hope it would be normal food. It would, any interest I had in Lizzie as a character would be gone if it just went for the horrible food trope or horrible cooking trope. It's a pet peeve of mine when people can't cook. And I don't even mean restaurant quality food or chef quality food. I just mean being able to go and make something tasty, something that you enjoy eating, not something, well, it's nutritious, it's food, I put it in me for calories, something more. Being able to make something more than that, something that, something you enjoy. It's not being able to do that is a pet peeve of mine, because to get to that point, it's really not that hard. It's really not. It takes a bit of effort, it takes a bit of learning, but it's really not hard. He took a bite, and it tasted good too. John realized that Lizzie was staring at him intensely, as if her life was on the line, so he smiled at her. "It's really good." "Yay, I worked so hard on it." "You work on Are you interested in my audio levels?" "Yes, you are." Let's not try to get you attacking the screen, shall we? "So, do you just want to just meet together, or why won't you accept my love?" Why, John, why?" "That's, a really intense line of conversation. Can we just chat?" "Okay, tell me things. I want to know everything about you." "Well, I'm nothing special." "That's not true." Let me see what to say. Despite himself, John found it easy to talk to her. He was sure he was sounding like an idiot, rambling about stupid, mundane topics, yet she listened to every word with rapt attention. Yeah, I'm sort of like that. I ramble like an idiot whenever I find somebody comfortable to talk to, and I enjoy listening to people ramble like idiots. I like hearing people talk about what things that they enjoy, things that they're passionate about, even if I have no input, even if my response is occasionally, that's nice, or yeah, and stuff like that. Just I like listening to people talk passionately. It's one of my favorite things, actually. It's probably why I like listening to podcasts so much, although I don't listen to many, to be fair. Same thing with like YouTubers and Let's Plays, ones that are like genuinely passionate. I love listening to that stuff. Anyway, it was bizarre to have someone actually care about his life. His father never had the time. His friends were busy with their own things. Miss Smith was just listening professionally, but Lizzie really cared. He knew that she wasn't well, that her obsession was probably a sickness, yet a pathetic part of him didn't care, was just happy to have someone to pay attention to him. Only after talking for a long time did he realize he was talking about himself like a self-centered jerk. She didn't seem to mind, but he still felt guilty. Sorry, I've been talking a lot. I can do that sometimes. Oh, don't apologize. I like listening to you talk. It's been pretty boring, though. I mean, you already know a lot about me. I want to know everything about you. I've been watching you for a long time. I know all the facts, but there's still things I don't know. But I still don't know everything. I can't see inside your head. That's where the important parts of John are, but I can't see them. I wish there was a way to crack your head open, see all the thoughts inside. John swallowed uncomfortably. I can't say that I've not said something like that before, because I just kind of was like, yeah, I wish. I can't actually explain it before. It's like, but it's that similar thing to not knowing the word for something, or thinking it was like, yeah, that would be really cool. Oh wait, that sounds bad. Like, but not realizing that until after you say something. It's not that in this case, though. You can always just ask me what I'm thinking, okay? Okay, you're so nice, John. So, Lizzie, tell me about yourself. There's nothing to tell. I'm not important at all. I just want to listen to you more. Yes, but if I want to know more about you, don't you want to tell me? John's so kind. I don't deserve him. So, what about your parents? I live alone now. Neither of my parents wanted me anyway. I'm sure that's not true. They probably just, have to make me feel better. I don't mind. You don't mind that your parents... My father never loved me anyway. My mother's dead now. My parents separated too. They never made it formal, but yeah, they're separated. Mom doesn't like to visit, and Dad's always at work, so it's like he's not really there. You mean they just leave you alone? How horrible. How dare they leave you like that? Clubs. Are you in any after-school clubs? When he wasn't pulling the conversation away from troubling topics, John actually found himself enjoying their talk. Maybe he was just happy to be talking to someone and actually managing to pay attention to the conversation. He finished every bite of his lunch without thinking about it. Given the way she stared at the last crumbs when he finished, that was probably a good thing. Too late, it occurred to him that she might have tampered with the lunch. Yet, as she stared at him, so pleased that he had enjoyed it, John couldn't believe that she would do anything bad to him. Yes, absolutely nothing bad will ever happen to John from Lizzie. I kid. As soon as he had that thought, he remembered the tree and shivered involuntarily. After school, John had barely gotten out the door when he spotted Lizzie following him. It seemed as though she was stalking him at first, but when he made eye contact, she gave him a sweet smile and skipped forward. John, let's walk home together. Do we live in the same direction? No, but don't worry, I'll walk back to my house later. Which meant she did know where he lived. He really needed to be more cautious. Maybe we could do something else. You remember our promise? Yes, getting medicine and therapy has really helped me a lot. I hope it will help you too. Now, I think the easiest thing to do would be to talk to Miss Smith. She could... No, I hate her. She's awful and she wants to take you away from me. Wait a second. That's not true. She just wants to help. Oh, it's too nice. You can't see what kind of person she is. I have to protect him. Lizzie, wait. Calm down. If you don't want to talk to Miss Smith, we can do something else, all right? Okay. So, probably best not to choose a woman. There had to be a male Koitek pharmacist in town. Maybe one of them could prescribe something. But he really wasn't sure how that worked. He had been counting on Miss Smith to guide the process, but now he'd have to figure it out himself. Lizzie, I need to do a little research first. Is that okay? Okay, I'll follow you. Maybe it would be easier if I did it myself. No, I don't like that idea. I'll see you tomorrow, okay? You can bring another lunch. Okay, see you tomorrow, John. He hoped that medication would help her stabilize. After all, she'd be cured if... Why exactly was he doing this? He had told himself it was to help her and to make sure no one got hurt, but now he was hoping she could become normal and stay with him. Pathetic. Couldn't get a girlfriend normally, and he had to take advantage of some poor girl's obsession. For now, it didn't matter. She really did need help, and he might be able to get it to her. It was just a question of how. The best way was probably to ask for advice, either from Miss Smith or a pharmacist. He could try to research some himself, though he doubted he'd be any good at it, and he supposed it wouldn't hurt to ask if she was taking anything else or had allergies or something. Damn man, he should have done that earlier. Now it's too late. John realized that she was still following him. He shouldn't have been surprised. Okay, so asking her was still an option. But he only had so much time before he had to get home and do his schoolwork, so he needed to choose carefully. A choice. An impasse. A fork stuck in the road, a crossroads of life, blah, 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 blah. I'm going to take a drink first. Also, observation, I doubt it's an interesting observation. I actually think that the author of this, Sierra Lee, could actually do well writing children's books. The way that she writes is very... I can't think of the word, and I don't mean that in like an insulting way. I think she would be quite good at it. The way that she writes reminds me of stuff that I liked reading when I was younger. And I don't mean like 5, 6 years old. I'm talking like 8, 9, 10, like somewhere in that frame. It's something about the way that she writes. It's not simplistic seems like the wrong word to use because it's not like simple in that way. But it's not complex, and I mean that in a positive way. Stuff that's written, especially if it's complex for the sake of complexity, I hate. But this, it doesn't have a lot of fat, and the like sentence structure, I like her writing, and I think she would actually do very, very good in writing something in that like age group. I have no idea if she'd even want to, but you know, it's something that I think would be interesting. And I mean, I'd actually probably read it, or at least attempt to. I don't have children, nor do I actually know any children, to be fair. But I think that would be something that she would be skilled in doing. Anyway, and that little bit of an aside, we are going to go research in the library. Stopping by the library, John did his best to research possible medications among the books, even asking the librarians for help. It felt really ineffectual. He wished there was a better way to get information, but there weren't a lot of options. In one of his classes, they claimed that computers would eventually make things easier, but their school couldn't afford any. I will also say, because I'm sure I will forget, and if not, then I mean it deserves to be said multiple times. Sierra Lee captures depression very, very well, in my opinion. Just my own issues with depression over the years, people I've talked to, people that I've been close to, people that have just commented about that I've seen just about their, just randomly seen talking about their experience with it. This captures it very, very well. And I said Sierra Lee did a fantastic job capturing the things that she wanted to capture in this, in my opinion. A fantastic job. A fantastic job. Anyway, one of the few things he could do was skim through various books about mental illness for references to symptoms like Lizzie's. Her case sounded much worse than anything he'd read about. All the articles suggested that most mentally ill people were non-violent, but he knew that wasn't true of Lizzie. Yawn. I can't stop yawning for some reason. I kept yawning before I started recording too. There wasn't a lot of current information about Koitak. He did find some. There were crackpots who felt their medicine was ineffective. Even Paxitine had critics who felt it was being rushed to market. John forced himself to stop reading that since it just made him feel worse. Instead, he focused on selecting potential drugs for Lizzie. 2 showed up as potential candidates: Dondaquil, and Nilazine. According to the studies, Nilazine calmed people down but tended to flatten emotions, which a lot of patients hated. By contrast, Dondaquil had better reviews. Other than nausea as a side effect, it seemed to do a good job of calming violent people. Whether either of the drugs would be right for Lizzie, that was an entirely different question. Stepping out onto the street, John glanced at his watch and decided he had some more time to research his options. Well, we have a choice here. I actually technically did this in the wrong order, because I was reading too quickly. Anyway, of my little guide here, I was supposed to talk to Lizzie and then do research. But we'll just talk to Lizzie now. It won't matter too much. John walked along the street until he was sure that Lizzie was slinking after him. Then he turned and waved to her. She waved back. Hey, John. Did you change your mind? Can we go home together? I knew you. No, I just wanted to check with you. Are you taking any medications right now? Have you had any bad reactions in the past? Oh no, I've never taken anything. My mom was always on too many drugs. It scared me when I was little. You see, are you sure you're all right taking medication now then? Oh, John is so considerate. Don't worry, I'll be fine. I'll take your medicine every day to try to get better. I want to be like you. Okay, good. I hope it will help. I'll take anything you give me, John. I'm Morgana. It was getting late, and John realized he needed to get home quickly. But if he wanted to have time for his homework, on his way back he was sure Lizzie was following him, but couldn't get a clear look at her. At least, it was only one more day until the weekend. Friday passed faster than John had expected. Lizzie was nearby at all times and they ate lunch together, but things were almost normal. Almost. Just when he started to get comfortable, she would give a giggle that went on a little too long, or slide a hand towards where she hid her knife, or responded more enthusiastically than she should. Was it bad of him to think she was really cute despite that? She could be nice if she wasn't so, well... But John hated it when his friend suggested he could be fun if he wasn't depressed, and that thought left an ugly knot in his stomach. Well, it wasn't long now. Maybe she could get some real help. He made it through class, almost slipped to his session with Miss Smith, then headed home. John finished his homework and chores as fast as he could and went to sleep. Going out in public drained him, and he wanted to have enough energy for the weekend. He woke up too early, eyes gritty and head still mired in half-remembered dreams. John got up to get a drink and happened to glance out the window. I wonder what that poster is off to the side over there. don't think you ever get a good look of it. Anyway, Lizzie was standing outside his house with a huge smile on her face. After staring at her for a moment, John groaned and went back to bed. The second time he woke up, the sun had already risen. He felt a little better, but not much. Normally, he would stay at home all weekend, but he couldn't do that if he wanted to help Lizzie. She was still standing outside his house in exactly the same place with exactly the same cheerful expression. John brushed his teeth, got dressed, combed his hair. He realized that he was acting like he was getting ready for a date. He wondered how intense it'd be if he had accepted her confession. Or was she worse this way? Well, at least he was going to go out with a cute girl. He hadn't done that since middle school, and those were childish relationships. Of course, this was the only way he could get a date. Pathetic. Finishing his preparations, John headed outside. He hadn't noticed from his house, but Lizzie had gotten dressed up from the occasion. He'd never seen her outside her school uniform, and it made him hesitate for a moment. She obviously put effort into making herself look good, and she did. It would have been nice if not for how it made him worry about the level of importance he was attaching to the day. Yes, and this is her outfit. Fairly, normal, standard clothing. And again, I would like to give credit to character designer and whatnot, that it looks like normal clothing. Like I could see somebody wearing this instead of the over-the-top anime bullshit that a lot of stuff have. I really like simple things. Simple things please me. Like when they're gotten right and stuff like this. And, it's something simple like normal clothing and stuff like that. It's the little things. It really is the little things that make a story memorable. As soon as Lizzie saw him, her smile became even brighter than it had been while waiting. John, I'm ready. Good morning, Lizzie. Did you sleep all right? Oh, I didn't sleep. Let's go. She practically dragged him down the street, apparently heading for the bus station. Yet instead of looking forward, her gaze was fixated behind her on him. Do you have a plan, John? This is our first date. It needs to be perfect. Shit. You should have known she'd treat it this way. It wasn't like he hadn't had enough time. He used to be good at planning. What's wrong with him? Other than clinical depression. God, such a mess. All right, he had to think. He used to be able to think on his feet. He could do this. So, I want to deal with the medication issue first so the rest of the day can be fun, all right? Sure, whatever you want. If we get a blood test, we'll need to wait a while, so I was thinking we could get the test first, then eat breakfast and get the results. That should give us the entire rest of the day. That's such a great plan. Let's hurry. John was glad to hear her respond so happily, but wondered if she had said that no matter what he told her. They took a bus across town to the furthest pharmacy and ordered a standard Koitex sampling. He'd been nervous that Lizzie might react poorly to the needle, but she just smiled sweetly at him while they took a bit of her blood, then hopped back up. Look, the Band-Aids have little kitties on it. So cute. You want to eat something now then? Yes. They walked to a nearby bakery and he bought them a pair of pastries. One of the only advantages of his workaholic father was that at least he had a decent amount of spending money. Lizzie held hers in both hands and began cheerfully nibbling on the end of it. She stared at him while he was doing it, but otherwise she looked ordinarily cute instead of scarily cute. Nom nom nom. Didn't know you could act silly. I don't hear you laugh very often. You usually look so sad, and that makes me sad too. And like that, his good mood crumbled. And no, I'm always ruining everything. I don't know why anyone stays near me when I just... No. Lizzie took his pastry and stuffed it in his mouth to shut him up. You're not depressing at all, John. Just being around you makes me feel warm inside. I just want to see you smile more. When you smile, I feel like everything maybe will be alright. His attempt to talk around the pastry made Lizzie giggle, which made him laugh, which just set off a vicious cycle. After a fit of coughing, he had lost half his pastry but regained his good mood. It had been a long time since an emotional downturn hadn't sent him spiraling towards depression. Lizzie grinned at him and he smiled back at her. All at once he felt guilty for trying to convince her to take medication. Who was he to tell her what to do? Worse, was he manipulating her obsession like this? It was only to help her, but did that make it any better? The thoughts troubled him, but they remained in the back of his mind as they finished eating, talking lightly. But then they were finished. It had been a while since the test. It was time to go back. Let's get the results, okay? Will John think differently about me? No, I just want to find a way to help you, okay? Okay. She answered cheerfully, but something in the lightheartedness that they had shared was gone, and it wasn't coming back. Swallowing, John steeled himself and walked with her back to the pharmacy. Lizzie slowed near the entrance, then shuffled backward. I'll stay here. You can bring me what I need, okay? Okay, no problem. Inside, he found the pharmacist writing something on a clipboard. When he spotted John, he immediately frowned. You're alone? I suppose that's for the best anyway. We need to talk. Is something wrong? She's not sick, is she? It isn't that kind of test. It only takes a snapshot of a person's current condition. Is your friend going through a difficult time right now? Well, maybe a little. These are some extraordinary numbers. Most people only see these briefly during the worst days of their lives. Take care of her until things pass, all right? Okay. There's something else I have to ask. It won't be comfortable, but it's necessary. Have you ever gotten any sense that she might hurt herself or anyone else? No, I can't imagine her doing anything like that. The lie was out of his mouth before he even consciously decided to lie. John regretted it immediately, yet now it was too late to contradict himself. The pharmacist grunted and looked over his papers. Well, keep a close eye on her. Even the gentlest person could be capable of violence under conditions like these. Is it really that bad? I thought she seemed better lately. No, there must be some recent trauma she hasn't told you about. I'm certain of it. Someone with numbers like these regularly, they would be completely incurable, insane, probably, and definitely a threat to society. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to imply anything. I'm sure she'll work through things and get back to normal soon. So, can you prescribe anything? I can give you 2 weeks of either Yondequel or Nilazine. That should get her over the rough patch. Just 2 weeks? Can't you prescribe more? Not without a more extensive evaluation, but like I said, that's all you'll need. I'm sure she'll recover soon. I really should be talking to her directly, but in her current condition, I think it'd be safer to bend the rules and let you act like a family member. So, which one do you think would be best for her? And we have a choice. Which medicine is she going to get? Yondequel, Nilazine, or nothing? Well, find out the answer to that and more next time, and I hope to see you all there.